Good morning. In the background, you're listening to key solfeggio music. Gotta mellow down easy. Good morning. Today's day 340 of the Mayan calendar. You know, we have 4 halls of records on the surface of this planet. Giza, Tibet, Antarctica, and Nassau in the Bahamas. There are replicas of the Sphinx down on the floors of oceans, pyramids. There's Giza, there's Antarctica, there's Tibet, and there's Nassau in the Bahamas. We went when my mother celebrated a birthday. She passed at 88 here a few months ago. Her birthday was 6 August. And we took a cruise, and Nassau in the Bahamas was included on it. We had a great day off the boat, and away we went. So I've been there a couple of times. Atlantis is there, and there's a hall of records there. You got to do the analogies and figure out where it actually is. I mean, there are things that are compartmented. Delta Force is a compartmented unit. We're going to listen to our government, if you're American, in the subcommittee of the Intel world, talk about the budget and challenges. And the leader doesn't seem to be too bad a dude. He's interested. He's a congressman. He's going to turn it off to a sidekick, the female. Listen to her words. Delta Force sees the Dyson sphere in January last year, I believe. Could have been 22. The Dyson sphere was on Mercury. They've got a flying object that's got all the ergonomics of a Washington Monument replica. Gets pointed in the right direction and 0 points out. Mercury's pretty close, given the distance of other stars. And there's been transmutation that has occurred there. There's a being named Ashtar Sharon who walks around in the inner life physically. And so when you get read in and you get appointed to a spot, you're in. And just right next to it is the secret space program, which is in existence and takes guys on trips, and they're breaking out. But those who are on the surface, who joined the military, who were devoted, had the clarity of mind to be who they are in this life, make it to Delta. And they're gifted athletes, and they can do anything. Whether it's shoot or walk into a public facility and blend and be the guy that you really like, because they've got the personality. It's a part of the true assessment. In the early days, Bill Garrison was picking them out to kill them. Not all of them, though. I mean, a lot of them almost died. Jerry Boykin, Ray Melnick, all the guys that were on Eagle Claw. But it was meant to be. Bush tried to kill them all. Wade Ishimoto detonated a fuel barge at the ISB that was coming at them, a fuel truck. First a high school bunch of kids broke down, or elementary school. This is at a secret intermediate base. So Beckwith waved it off. Carter took the blame. He listened to Beckwith. Meanwhile, the guys at the embassy, had he spoken to them, could have turned it into a plan B, a piece of cake. But we were made to believe that Bush and Carter, along comes Reagan, and the hostages go home. Ahmadinejad was there. All right, so let's listen to this woman, and know that Vladimir Putin's Arcturus, he was coached up on the planet Mars to relax his grip by a fleet of angels who came to him. You better get this through your head. It's 3 light minutes away, and there's a planet called Maldek that used to exist inside of Jupiter. So that's not a part of this briefing. This is about money and the needs of special operations. There was a radio DJ named Michael Savage. He used to talk about, the enemy within. He sounded crazy, but you bet your ass the enemy is within. It's within you, it's within our government, it's within other governments, and there are non-state actors that want to do damage with science and technology and spiritual hypnotism. Wahhabi. We're all hypnotized. We are all hypnotized. And that's the truth. Because you believe in a 7-day week. And that's a lie. That is a lie. Is the sun not out every day? Yes. So why do we have other days? Who are they named after? Who named the planets? Try and continue to learn and ask those questions and don't take things for granted. We used to like Christopher Columbus till we discovered he was Rh negative. His name was Barry Obama. He was in the jumper program. They ate people. He's Muslim Brotherhood and subdued by his natural-born father. So I'd call him a problem, and Vladimir Putin recognizes that. You see, we had school shootings here. We had the theater music shooting in Vegas. The ringmaster there, the policeman Peltier, ran Maui. You know, stay off this island. So you got our side. And all the Luciferian SMC that supports it. FEMA being dark. Cantor Fitzgerald was light. Someone leaked the information, and that's why they nailed it with that plane. Now, the Russians had an experience a month or two ago with a bunch of people killed, and the guys trying to get back to the Ukraine. They caught them. They ripped their beards off. They had them tell stuff. And, you know, it runs right up. Putin's way too experienced. He's been running the country since the year 2000. Vladimir Putin. He talked to Clinton about trying to get into NATO. You heard his interview with Tucker, what's-his-face. So this woman, I mean, he's forgave South Africa. He's got BRICS going on. The Saudis joined BRICS. Our government's in big trouble. So they're talking about millions of dollars to do whatever they want to do, and the rug's going to get pulled out. But they're perpetuating the myth of the United States having money supported by the reserve currency system that none of the other countries are going to want to play in, except maybe Europe, because they're NATO, and they're the euro, and they're the reverse side of the bill if you look hard at it. And our colonies became states, and now there's 50, and Obama was not born in Hawaii. He's subdued, S-U-B-U-D. Worst elements of every belief system incorporated into a man who has a wife with a male organ. So it's really a man named, last name Robinson, Michael Robinson, a.k.a. Michelle. He calls her that by mistake. It's in your face. She danced on Ellen DeGeneres with a Klingon dress, showing, I mean, there's movies are. So accept it. The First Lady was a man. Is a man. Now, nobody talks about any of this. But you think Fenton and the guys don't know something? So they're autonomous when they do missions. They don't go to the president and say, hey, we want to do this. They'll respond when a call is received because they're the national treasure. Colin Powell called him that. Now, he's dead, as it turns out, a while ago. But let's listen to this lady. This is important. I'll be quiet and just, you listen to her take on why we need special ops and the reasons and who the bad guys are. Russia is a good country. Pravda is truth. Communism, true communism, where we share at the top and the bottom, and whether you are the janitor or the financier, you know that you've got to share. Because then everybody's happy. Everybody needs abundance by giving. That's the truth. That's the planet. We're going to, and our metronome will fade away to a 6-day week under the Mayan calendar, which I'll show you after we listen to a good bit of this.
With that, let me thank our witnesses for appearing before us. And today, I
Solik
recognize
and
the
Fenton.
Ranking Member Slotkin for any opening
Slotkin.
remarks he may have.
Thanks,
Ranking member.
Representative Bergman, Mr. Chairman.
Get a load of
I
her.
think this is the second time, maybe in history, that two Michiganders have chaired a House hearing.
Oh, like
last
Magic
year.
Johnson
We
went
did
to
the same
college.
thing. I think we opened the hearing last
He
year by
attained
saying
HIV.
the current global security environment is dynamic.
Yes.
I think it's fair to say that was an understatement. Obviously, we had the attack on October 7th.
The fuck is
the
that?
ensuing conflict and humanitarian crisis.
23
we've seen
October.
what Iran and Iran's proxy.
HIV.
The current global security environment is dynamic.
Yes.
I think it's fair to say that was an understatement. Obviously, we had the attack on October 7th.
The fuck is
the
that?
ensuing conflict and humanitarian crisis.
23
we've seen
October.
what Iran and Iran's proxies have done across the region. We're
Iran's
realizing
proxies.
the
No
real-time
Mossad.
consequences of the actions of those malign actors. Not just the threat in the Middle East, but globally with international shipping
Here it
traffic.
comes.
In Russia, in Europe, we still have the Russia's illegal and unjust war in Ukraine entering its third year, and obviously the Indo-Pacific and beyond. Chinese Communist Party
So this is
increasingly using coercive actions
a voter
that run
for you, a
counter
rep.
to the international global order. We know that
Do you
this
agree
has
with
your
her?
full attention. This whole
I don't.
spread of,
She needs to be
of
fucking
conflicts.
waterboarded.
And
That's
for
my
over 20
attitude,
years,
and then
we've
forgive her
asked the
when
Special
she
Forces
gags
community
out
to focus on
the
counterterrorism,
impossibilities of the back of her
and countering
mind
violent extremism
to get her in this
in
seat.
places like Iraq, Afghanistan, and whatnot. So I think as a former CIA officer, I have better part of my 20s and 30s working alongside the Special Forces community
Really?
here and in Iraq.
I never met her.
Understand the importance of your work. But we want to understand.
She'd
if
be
you
like
have
the
the
bitch
resources
that
that you
deployed and
need
let
in
the
this very
guy in it blow
dynamically
everything up.
changing
'Cause
world. Representative Bergman
And
talked
she's
about
not a
great
bitch,
power
whoever that was.
competition. How are
Ask Michael
how
Jaco
is the
about that
Special Forces
incident.
community postured
Guy
to
was
support
like
this effort? What does that
covers
look
a
like? Do
doctor
you have the
from
right
Lebanon.
training,
He
the right
fucking
manning,
blew up a whole
equipment, international
outstation.
support, funding?
So this girl is a dunce. If you watch I Pick Goat 1, 2, or whatever, there's a segment where George W. Bush has got his hand on his chin, he's got a dunce hat on, and she's a Bushite. She's heavily draconian, reptilian, ZETA, bobbleheaded. Area 51 occupies her bonehead, and she is heavily confused, inverted, and I see witticism in a member, the ranking member of this organization, her. Did she serve a day in her life? No. Bing. So let's continue to listen. I'll be coming back to orient you to my cover, and we'll get into some Black Eyed Presents reality on the power of Delta Force, not only on this surface, but intergalactically. You see, they're from the Pleiades, and there's millions of them on ships, and all they want is peace, and she doesn't know that. What will the last moments of her life be like when it finally comes? One can only wonder. But let's listen to this wench.
Coercive actions that run counter to the international global order. We know that this has your full attention, this whole spread of conflicts. And for over 20 years, we've asked the Special Forces community to focus on counterterrorism and countering violent extrerism.
You're the
In
terrorist.
places like Iraq, Afghanistan, and whatnot. So I think
Whatnot.
as a former CIA officer, I have
yeah, you're a case head.
better part of my 20s and 30s working alongside the Special Forces
Yes.
community, both here and in Iraq, and know
I
firsthand
mentioned
the
earlier
importance of
about
your
a
work.
lady that
But we want
screwed
to
it up
understand if you have the resources that
in
you
the
need
real world.
in this very sort of dynamically changing world. Representative Bergman talked about great power competition. How is the Special Forces community postured to support this effort? What does that look like? Do you have the right training, the right manning, equipping, international support, funding, professional military education? furthermore, we need to make sure we still maintain our eye on that ball when it comes to terrorism, crisis response, integrated defense, deterrence. So look forward to hearing from all of you on that.
Yield.
Welcome you here, and I yield back.
Good.
Thank you. And
go ahead.
On a bit of a timeline here, it looks like votes are going to be called less than 25 minutes.
Oh boy.
So what
countdown to
like
launch
to do is let's get our
for a bill
from our witnesses
to enact.
And then depending
Paul
on
acted.
When that finishes,
he murdered Christians.
We'll
Never met
if
Yeshua.
we're done with your remarks before that, then we'll have a couple of Q&A until they call votes, and then at that point, once they call votes, we will adjourn, and then
we'll eat lunch.
Reconvene.
We'll tool around.
Rayburn 2337 for a classified session.
Rayburn, Gene Rayburn. No, not him.
Your questions down there. We'll just kind of
game shows.
Do what we do now. Go to vote. Go into classified.
Woo-hoo. Blackbird. All right.
So with that, Secretary Mayor, over to you.
We'll just listen to
Thank you, Chairman
10 seconds of this.
Members Slotkin and distinguished members of this subcommittee. Thank you for this opportunity.
I've known past ASD Solix. I've met them. Tom O'Connell was a good friend of Paul Morgan. Gunnar Sepp, who I went to training with,
and I thank you for his
was an acting member of ASD Solix. He's a PGIP teacher now. He is. Swear we. Coward. Gunnar Sepp. All right. All right, let's rock it up to the ROTC man that was goofing it up with Lou Holtz in the past and was the water boy at Notre Dame. You remember Rudy Can't Fail? They got a special needs kid out there to kick a field goal in a movie. And then what do you know? The real Rudy got Rudied by Borat in the Ukraine. The love ladies of that vampire woman is attached to. So let's listen to a man, true man.
Thank
Not
you,
Harry.
Mr. Secretary, and General Fenton, you're recognized.
Chairman Bergman, ranking member and distinguished members of this committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify before you today. Joining me is Command Sergeant Major Shane Shorter, a two-time COCOM Command Senior Enlisted Leader with over 3 decades of service in Special Operations.
Acknowledgement to the non-commissioned right up front.
Non-commissioned officer corps that is without equal. Our NCOs stand at the very center of our command.
First name basis, behind the scenes, you bet.
And the object of fear.
They bring in the heavy liquor.
Together, we're honored to represent the 70,000 uniformed and civilian members of SOCOM, including 28 international special operations teammates in our interagency team.
I was there as a reservist and a contractor from 92 to 2010.
His leadership
after
and
that,
the SOLIC team's advocacy,
but I retired on
for the
2010.
readiness, modernization, and well-being of our force and families. As
Dave
Secretary
became
Mayor
Diane.
mentioned, we lost 15 of our special operations teammates over the last 5 months. They made the ultimate sacrifice, and their selfless acts remind us of the utmost.
Know that he's representing green and blue
our fallen,
and brown
their families
and orange. DC. Trump knew all about it.
Our nation faces autocrats and terrorists that
Purple.
threaten our world. From the People's
That's
Republic
joint.
of China to Russia, from Iran to North Korea.
And gold and
violent
black
extremist
is so calm.
organizations. Our adversaries seek
The
to
Golden
divide
Knights
weaken
is
the
back to
US,
the Army.
Our allies and our partners. The PRC's global
And
coalition,
SEALs are the
debt diplomacy,
most dynamic
cyber
on the
intrusion,
surface,
and aggression
swimming in the
are
water.
common practice in their pursuit to rewrite
6.
international
You go all the way up.
Russia's unprovoked and illegal invasion of Ukraine.
And a
drives
Delta
into its
guy
third year
or a
of attack
Special
on
Forces
innocent
dude can't
civilians,
switch and
abductions,
become a
and other
SEAL
crimes
Team 6
fueling
man.
their
That's
objectives
Navy
in
only.
Europe.
But a
All while
Navy
their disinformation
Special Ops person
campaigns
can become a
spread
Delta
chaos
operator. You
across the
see,
globe.
they're the varsity.
The DPRK is
Obama
increasingly belligerent,
used, well,
complicit and delusional.
great
They
men.
support Russia's aggression in
With
Europe.
McCraven,
Iran,
former
a longtime
commander.
malign actor,
Michelle's got a
leverages its
cock.
proxies, Hamas, the Houthis, Hezbollah, and militias.
He
even
knows.
more than before. To sow
Look, there's
instability
truth,
in the Middle
and there
East.
are
While
evildoers
Al-Shabaab,
out
Al-Qaeda,
there.
and
He ought to
ISIS
be
still seek to
waterboarding
threaten
Jim
our homeland
Caviezel,
and interests abroad.
Donald John Trump, George
To
W.
combat
Bush,
these threats,
Tulsi
your
Gabbard,
SOCOM team
men and
delivers
women in a
asymmetric
tribunal,
asynchronous advantage for
and then we
people.
finish it. I
To
hereby
enterprise
authorize
priorities
it
of
by the
people,
power vested
win,
in me.
transform. Our people,
Women will take the lead on this
competitive and
planet,
comparative
and he
advantage.
knows it.
your special operations.
He'd be glad to help sweep up afterwards and shoot the shit and
complex problems.
Won't be drinking drunk.
And contested
It's like Gary Luck.
And with them, we win. By
Gary Luck was incredible.
Deterring our adversaries, tearing apart violent extremist
General officers are mostly highly squared away.
To be clear, DOD's main effort.
But I'm telling you, there's cretins, A-type personalities that just fucking scream.
1942,
people get scared, the staff runs, the industrious idiots act, and SOCOM reorganizes to a soup and a SOIO.
In the global war on terror.
Let me tell you what.
These 8 decades make your special operations
Byron,
tailor-made for this.
Get it back to the J staff and straighten it out.
Strategic options to
start to disassemble and focus on the guard. And your cohort is
the environment to ensure the joint force
Adjutant General for Arkansas, former chaplain, and Sarah Huckabee Sanders,
highlight the integrated
daughter of Mike,
and strategic competition
Mike Huckabee,
are in our DNA.
Oh,
always has been.
DNA, baby. He says the right words. Stare at the sun, man.
On the pacing challenge and the acute threat.
Look at all those. Look at that rainbow stuff. Oh, man, what's the guy been doing? Jumping and diving and... He's a madman. He's got some gray hair. He wears the old Benjamins. Why can't he put on contacts and fucking stare straight? They get RK surgery, they get lased. I mean, they're advanced.
Then wrapping technology around them, like AI.
Horn of Africa, fucking 3 guys
for the joint force via
got out.
Innovation.
Incredible. Gary Harrington made it. Boykin dismissed him. He got back in with McMullen.
Continued support.
He was 5th Group Commander. Larry Costa, Special Forces Intelligence Man, Language, Worldwide Language Resources, WWLR. Married by a voodoo priest. Collected tanks. Home in the Turks Caicos facing La Palma. That home will go nowhere. Architecture, well designed.
Thank you, and I look forward to taking your questions.
Thank you, General Fenton.
All right, you're welcome.
Since they haven't called
All right, now that we've completed General Fenton's opening remarks, you, the decision maker, let me orient you to my cover page and the accompanying graphics. We have 2 months listed and the conversion to the Maya dates in red. You see that 888 was very powerful. Ask Eldora and Saman and Glastonbury. Let's review the planet chakra. Class. Start here, right here, with fire. And go to where? Mount Shasta. Down to Titicaca, over to Ayers. Around to the throat. Ayers is the wind. The throat is Giza. The heart is Glastonbury. That's where they were. Blessed Mother was. From there, she was a princess, blue-eyed wonder. Joseph of Amaranthia as well. So you're Glastonbury, the Irish, up the Raw. We took out Mountbatten. We had to. He was a fucking cannibal. I make no excuses for loyalty to a fucking Oliver Cromwell, sick bunch of people that eat people. Took over a quarter of that country, and they mark everything and track everything, and there's a free state down south, just like they say up north in Strabane. That's where my grandfather's from. My father's mother's uncle is Martin Wynn. There's a museum dedicated to him in Sligo. So nobody's going to piss off unless they say something stupid as a comment. And I dare you to share this video, because it's transformative just by knowledge. So the Pleiadians are coming. Read the words. Okay? It's huge. And it's Delta guys up there from the future. My twins are from the Pleiades peeps. And my son is the best. Here's Byron. This is the dunce. Here's what we thought because we watched TV. And she's in it. George H.W. Bush masterminded it with his son. You see, Cantor Fitzgerald had a hedge fund that was getting ahead of FEMA. Word leaked. And down it came. The cataclysm of 9/11, because they had time to plan it out. There was gold buried, asbestos poisoning, building 7 in the afternoon, and my friends were terrorized. Several of them come to mind. I don't need to mention any names, but recovery's ongoing. So 360 is the end of it, and then a new year begins. So it'll be 505.0.4 on 9/11. It's 3 now. And then the count begins again. There's 9/11. There's 360 at the end of the year, so to speak, but there's 5 extra days left over, and they're the lazy days of summer. That's where we're going, peeps. 6 days a week, 3 weeks a month, 20 months a year, plus 5. Now you've got lunar cycles too, loony toony, so we're going to do it all. We're all radicals. Now let's listen to the Pleiadians, or Black Eyed Presents, channeling the information from a starship to us. Now I won't talk about it, put any of this on my cover page. It's from another video, but there's the man, a porn man who was a porn star, and there's a man with a wife with a penis who went to Columbia, as you see, and was in the jumper program. That all has to do with Pensacola. And there is Indigo Angel and her sister taking care of being beautiful. Now let's go listen to Truth. By the way, the porno man is Ron Jeremy. And look at how he deteriorated, if you can see it. Sitting in court all masked up. I want to get a good look at Indigo Angel and her sister, Evie. I love them both. Lionsgate. Alright, there's Joe Genghis. There's Agartha. Let's listen to Michael Love was the human that got this through his throat chakra. Called channeling.
Light Forces transmission.
Unless he wrote it down.
Channeled by Michael Love, begin transmission. Great Ones, the Earth Alliance is reporting that a few Earth days ago, solar observatories all around the globe detected, filmed and photographed the largest influx of light ships coming into this solar system in modern human history. This data is locked away from public eyes to avoid panic for those who are unconscious, and the data is only leaked out to key Earth Alliance members via the acosmic level, top secret security clearance. Coded transmissions from one of these huge light ships shows the fleet to originated from the 5th dimensional Pleiadians. The data also shows
5D.
The size of this magnificent fleet to
That's
be
like
numbered near
Tyetta.
30,000.
Maria
These plasma
Orsic,
ships are massive
Gosha,
in size, very
go
advanced, and have
humans,
millions
and
of
then
beings
move
on
it to the
board each one.
Pleiadians. But it's future
12
version.
of these plasmic craft are galactic
Seven
security
Sisters,
ships, and
Atlas.
each one has close to 300,000 Delta security
planet
forces
Maya.
on board each ship. These ships are here for the purpose of shielding and blocking the last major negative energy. Multi-dimensional wormhole that is funneling Draco energy directly to Earth from the Rigel star system. These antimatter wormholes were
ZETA is a planet up there, and that's where Zorvath came from, to pop a shot at Trump.
Earth energy grid points. Chaotic, dense 3D matrix energy
And he would have
has
hit
been
him.
flowing through this artificial stargate
And Trump
for years,
nerved
and star
down,
nations are now
then got a
confirming
little
that this
bit,
portal is being closed for good as we speak.
He's a dead man, though.
Pleiadian Delta
Heart
security
attack.
forces have
It's
been
coming.
using advanced
In the near term.
monatomic and auric crystal energy
Clear it out.
to fully
Wake
close
up,
all
folks.
negative stargates leading to Earth, and to transmute the
and
negative
women,
energy of all controlling
stop
dark forces
cross-dressing.
that have
Be
ruled
who
this
you
planet
are.
for years.
Naturally.
Delta security forces are in the
If
process
you've already
now of
made a
depleting
gender identity decision, acknowledge where you are and be happy. Hey, we go, huh? Cruz is running. He's a filibuster, huh?
the energy of any remaining negative
They all bathe
beings in
together.
surface cabal who have been controlling and harming
Mount
the
Graham.
beings of Earth of the last 350,000 years. As of May 2019, these beings are now threatened with complete extinction. Forever and their last-ditch effort
Right
to
before
terraform
COVID.
Earth and transhumanize the population
October
using 5
2019.
grams negative energy
Mercury's
fields.
fast.
Nanobots and quantum computers
So are
has been
biochem
thwarted
labs.
according to Pleiadian
And
military
5G
commanders.
excitement. But
Two
concentrated at
previous
the Middle
attempts to
Olympics,
trigger the
Bill
event
Gates doing
using
event
NR
201.
technology and plasma bombs
With
to
Johns
close
Hopkins.
negative artificial energy portals
Chinese
had to be
delegation
halted
coming
for the
over
sake of
to
all
sign the
life on
Trump
Earth.
deal.
Both of these two pastime lines have been collapsed
The
by
Arctic deal.
Pleiadian light forces into the New Earth
Boy, is
gamma
he a fuck
timeline.
up.
Great ones.
I mean, if you want to
now we are
not
in the
share,
gamma
he
timeline,
gave it away.
which is a slow
Our
and
food.
sure way to
The
lead
Chinese
the
have
planet towards
pre-negotiated
full
prices.
liberation without
Take
destroying
it all.
the
They need
ecosystem
food
and
over
the
there.
surface population
So
in
they
the
got
process.
the money, they got the food, and you better
Benevolent
be
light
growing your own
forces
shit
that
when it
are surrounding
disappears off
the
the
earth
shelf.
at this very
Keep
moment
wiping your
have
ass with
requested that
with
we,
leaves when they come for
the
the
star
live organ
seeds on the
donation
ground,
program.
now
I hope you
provide
got
the
a cave
required
nearby.
support needed to fully liberate planet
Are you
Earth
tagged?
by
You have a
Independence
smartphone?
Day.
You have a live organ
An
donor
epic
program
human
card.
evolution
Oh!
is taking place right now.
Well, you acknowledge
Dear
that you
ones,
want to
where
do
a
it. You
move to
just didn't
personal
specify that
sovereignty
fine
is
print
starting
like
to
when they
take
want to
place
take
on a
them.
mass collective level.
If you're RH
The
negative,
same
you know, they
NR
need white
technology
butlers,
that
so
star
you'll be
forces
alright
are
if you're
using
old
to
and in
clear
the
cosmic
Philippines,
negative
but
energy has been made
these guys in the
available to the
Philippines
star
think they're
seeds of
retired.
Earth.
Ah!
Many beings of Earth are experiencing
I'm just trying
benefits
to
of
scare folks.
NR crystal technology
Be
in
who you
manifesting
are.
their 5D
Have
heaven
nice
on Earth.
conversations, and
By
source will
receiving
protect you.
great healing. And
Don't
now
get
we can
wasted,
assist the
just
higher
read.
beings using their same technology
Plants.
to help free the planet as
Yeah.
we move forward with
They
Operation
got
Freedom
custard
Earth.
apples coming this way.
Delta Forces relayed a
for your
special
gummies.
sacred geometry seal to
Here
the
we
Earth
go.
Alliance that, in conjunction with 4 monatomic NR crystals, creates an impenetrable etheric energy force field.
Now, you might not believe
This
this.
angelic seal and the 5DNR crystals also transmute low vibrational energy near your auric field at once. This Pleiadian protection and
You've
etheric
died many
transmutation grid can be found on our website below. Project Freedom
Gone
Earth is
back,
about personal sovereignty
planned
for
some more,
every
and
light
dropped
being
in.
stationed on the
In
planet.
this case, to be slapped.
Sovereignty is about
When there's water
realizing
births.
who and what you truly are,
You didn't need to
and
be
to start
slapped.
being this.
We know all this
It
already.
means that you
We
are
know
no less than what
hydroxychloroquine.
you are
The AMA
calling God.
told us.
And when
You
you
see,
start to be
Fauci
this,
gave it to
you
Trump.
no longer depend on anyone or
And they'll
anything.
try and get
but
Fauci. I'll
yourself.
represent him for free.
The wing makers call this
Half the NBA
sovereign
will back 'em up,
integral,
too,
and
like
it is
magic.
the greatest evolutionary leap
You just
that
didn't
mankind
know.
has ever known.
The
At
Freddie
this
Mercury
stage, the
guy,
light beings of
AIDS
Earth
and
become
magic
true
got
galactic
HIV,
citizens and begin to
used to
govern
work
themselves
at Kane.
and live as such. At this point in one's evolution, you begin be the highest and grandest version of yourself that you can conceive of,
Yeah.
and you begin to live out of your heart completely.
We're doing it.
A sovereign being does not depend on anyone for anything, and
Beautiful.
does what he or she desires.
Kaya Ra.
Sovereign beings do not require authority figures,
She was
gods,
Joan of Arc,
leaders,
Danica
and
Patrick.
they live as such.
She's
The
doing
Lemurians,
interviews now,
the
but she
Atlanteans,
is
and the
beautiful.
Pleiadians have all taught us time and time again that their secret higher dimensional
Nostradamus
power
sits on
comes
Sirius
from
Alpha
NR
right now,
crystal
folks,
technology.
with the true Muhammad.
Why do we promote Andarans?
All from our
From our
tourists,
own
A or
personal
B, and
testimony,
you know,
and
which
from
is
the
good.
testimony of tens of
I
thousands of
thought I
light
wanted
beings
to be
will
point
confirm
of
that
origin
Andar's
serious,
work.
so when I was
They are
waking
literal
up,
magic,
oh,
and the only way to
I
know
feel
is
so
to
close
work
to
with
my
them
brother.
personally.
but the
Inarans
stars
are
are what
causing
they are, and
rapid light body
Arcturians are
formation.
archangels.
Starseeds stationed all across
Class
the
of
Earth
being,
are beginning to
angelically.
report the first documented physical signs
Social
of the
memory
appearance
complex.
of their 5D light bodies. Operation Freedom Earth has commenced, dear ones.
Freedom.
The
Pardon my
Earth
scribble
Alliance is
here.
now
This is just
disclosing
raw
that a
notes, but
historical cosmic event
if
is
you can
about
read
to
it,
take
these are
place on
classes of
planet
angelic
Earth
beings.
around.
I was just sort of
A few
scribbling
of days
as
ago,
another channeling was
Pleiadian
mentioned,
Delta
but here they
security
are.
forces in charge of protecting the New Earth energy
So
grid.
pause it as needed
We're given
to
a green light
No, it
vote
starts
to
down here, and
initiate
there's millions
Operation
of them.
Freedom Earth.
making sure you're
Operation
okay.
Freedom Earth is the
just
final
don't know
mission
it.
regarding
They're astral,
humanity's
they're
ascension
physical,
and
they're
is the
like all
grandest
dimensions.
Pleiadian mission to date.
So
This
give up,
incredible
surrender, be a
operation
part of the
involves the
solution.
complete
Catch the
libration of
wave.
planet Earth. Billions of benevolent celestial forces from
Pleiadians.
every corner of this galaxy have
Yeshua
descended
did it
into
for
Earth's
us.
solar system and are coordinating Operation
Canaan.
Freedom Earth from the sky
You
to the
didn't know
ground.
that. They hit it.
This final Earth freedom mission will come
He
to a
did
grand
resurrect.
climax.
How did that happen?
Pleiadian
Did he
Delta
just
Force
Harry
commanders
Houdini by
have said that
himself
this
with no blood in
operation
him?
involves
No!
a massive
His wife
takedown of the
unfurled him
ancient,
and away they went.
artificial and harmful Earth
They
control
prepared
grid.
him for burial.
This old low vibrational, energetic
oil.
control grid
That's
is in
what
the
they
process
did.
of
The
being
Essenes.
completely
The Essenes.
disassembled, and a powerful
Read books by
crystalline
Dolores
energetic
Cannon.
protection grid is being put in place around planet
Dolores
Earth
Cannon.
now
2
to
O's in
deflect
Dolores,
and
2
neutralize
N's in
all
Cannon.
negative
She's all over
3D
YouTube
energies
as
coming
well.
from the surface. Light forces have also relayed the following urgent message to the inhabitants of planet Earth. Great ones. Earth has reached a critical apex in its evolution and in its very survival. Things absolutely cannot and will not continue as they have with careless care of the planet being handled by a handful of remaining negative beings.
Oh, look at the girl you watched
International
earlier.
Earth scientists and
have
biosphere
compassion.
experts have issued a serious
Bring a
warning
water
to all
board.
that human society is
Bring
now
water.
under urgent threat from a complete
Make her
loss
tell
of
the
Earth's
truth and
natural
then
life.
she can be with us.
Please become conscious of
Truth,
the fact that
force, and
over
food.
1 million
Anunnaki
species of
code.
living beings on the surface
Any
of planet
bobblehead
Earth
understands
and
that.
the entire ecosystem of Earth is facing a complete and imminent extinction.
That's the timeline.
What's more concerning is the entire human population
Founders are ready to
of
move
Earth
us out if
depends on the
this
other
fucking
species
CERN hit or
for its
something,
own
but that
survival.
ain't gonna happen.
Benevolent
Battle's
beings
won.
have now stepped in and
Wake
have
up,
decreed
guys.
that a plan is
Feel
in place
good
to
on a rainy
stop
day,
and reverse
like you
this
did when you
dire
were a kid.
situation.
Jump in the puddle.
We
You
are
were a
here to
puddle.
bring solutions and positive news for the hope of a glorious new epoch
You
on
forgot how
planet
to
Earth.
be happy with
The
everything.
grand event will now be
Little
fully
things
triggered,
that you take
and
for
a
granted.
blinding
Be
light that
thankful.
the Earth has never seen is
Be
coming
thankful.
just over
The
the
Lemurians
horizon.
tell us that now.
How to work
Show
with an
gratitude
NR
and don't
crystal.
be bored.
Simply come into close
We
contact
have so much
with an
to
NR.
learn and repair.
Hold it, meditate with
Meditation.
it, gaze upon it, and send your highest intention into it. Anara will greatly amplify
Yeah,
your
the
desires
sun
and
is a
manifest
good
them
place to
quickly
stare.
and directly to
Bare
you
naked
from a
eyes.
higher dimensional plane. Godspeed, Tilda Michael and the Pleiadians.
All right. We did it. We made it to the end. So, in conclusion, please know that on 9/11/3 BC, Revelation 12, before it was written, folks, Mary's feet were pointed at a total eclipse of the sun, Jupiter, and Regulus, testified to by Sudi to Dolores Cannon in Jesus and the Essenes. Get that book and read it. You can get it on Kindle. The days lasted for days. Somehow I ended up here in Arkansas. It must have been Source. My decision to come to this state, but I was going to Mammoth Springs, refine my ideas. My friend Brad Moore, that I just learned passed away. If you watch this and you know Brad, he went on August 31st last year of lung cancer, and I didn't know he was terminal. I'd spoken to him not too long before that, but he had recommended Northwest Arkansas. So I left from Mammoth Spring, drove out to Rocky's place after looking at some shit in Eureka Springs, got drunk, woken by a cop, told him to go away, I was sleeping. This was Rocky Rock on Facebook. He remembers me. Very gothic place. But it's Eureka Springs. It's LBGQ. It's freaking throw tomahawks at the dartboards. It's vibrant. It's where the UFO conference is, by Dolores Cannon. So yeah, I ended up where I live now. Then I found out later she's like 20 minutes away, and I was interested in QHHT Live, and back to Miami I went. Introduced myself as the guy that was in Florida, went to Arkansas, and yeah, I'm back here again. To Julia Cannon. And she told it to the whole QHHT Live crowd. Suzanne Spooner was there. Kaya Rittenhouse. Not Kaya. My son's name is Kyle. This guy is very handsome. He's a tall guy. He's lit. It's Kaya Wittenhouse. He was a model. Went to Suzanne Spooner, QHH'd up. They lived past lives together in Atlantis. What a magic weekend. There were a boy and girl that didn't know each other, sat next to each other. They found out they'd lived multiple lives before. That's Joshua, James, and a girl who's always gets mad at me because she's on her own path. But she met Yeshua. At that weekend, if she did, she'll have to admit it. And I yelled out, John, 1722. I didn't know Elon Musk was verse 12. Have a good day, folks. Bill Young was a great man. He was the head of the Senate Armed Services Committee. The VA's named after him. Big sections of Pinellas County. And God bless America. And his wife, boy, she wanted them when I was coming home from Afghanistan. Yeah, when I was coming home from Afghanistan, met her at the airport. Coincidentally, I was still in my freaking drag ass around the world stuff at Reagan. Met her. They were flying home. Told her what I did, and the congressman who asked me about whether we should use contractors or not, because they were professionalizing it and making government guys interrogators. I told them contracting is the way to go because you can turn it off later. But, oh, Beverly Young, holy shit, she was like, let me at him. What a wonderful, some of these women, you know, they're great. Don't you like women if you're a man? I hope so. Everybody look at the curves, hold the door, smell them, say, you smell great, and then guard them. Peace.
Ground ball hit down to first base. Milner has it, throws to Buddy Harrelson. One to first. Double play! And a fight breaks out. Pete Rose and Buddy Harrelson. Both clubs spill out of the dugouts. And a wild fight is going on. Barry Kuzman's in the middle of the fight.
He's a pitcher. 36. This is Shea Stadium. They don't play there anymore. Johnny Bench had to pull him away. Now a secondary. A streaker. No. Whoa. Alright, here we go. 15 August. Hi everybody. I hope you learned something from this video. This is the cover. That's me. The man standing right there is Zbigniew Brzezinski. From the planet Nibiru, point of origin. NIB. Just like Ozzy Osbourne, many Anunnaki. Potentially copper blood. SAALM, posing with Kissinger. So there, he's in picture with Tim Osman, aka Osama bin Laden, who's all dressed up. He looks a little bit like Che Guevara, but that's Osama bin Laden. This is another picture of him. He's a natural-born Saudi citizen, so consider that his real name. And he's Islamic, so he likes Allah. That's him in his alias, Inconus. His other pictures posting with Condoleezza Rice, Hillary Rodham Clinton. He's in his field attire, to include Osama bin Laden. I'm sorry, Barack Hussein Obama, a.k.a. Barry Sortero, the jumper program Hypnotized, controlled by William Brennan, who has a gay lover named Jim Clapper that I briefed all the time. And that's where this is all at. Afghanistan was a big fucking imperial hubris. See, it's a German thing when you have the pride to go into another place as an imperial power to think your shit don't stink. So this man we're going to listen to, he initially published as anonymous, but his name is, he came out later, just like the guy who did the hit, Opie. But he revealed himself. He seems very, it's going to be interesting for you to listen to him as anonymous, because he probes the situation with intelligence and the kind of advice the president receives, him being the head of the Osama bin Laden task force for years. So after the invasion, in 2004, in fact, is when this interview occurred, and then in 2005 he kind of came out in subsequent interviews. So we're going to cover him. Before we do that, we'll listen to Ron Paul and his sidekick talk and laugh about what the fuck happened. This is images from their video and the arsenal that we left behind to the Western Chinese and the Taliban. Hence the title. 20 years and a clone. $1 trillion. We're back home. So it's 2024, and I guess we're at the anniversary, and that's why people are talking about it. There's 9/11. There's a Twilight Zone episode of Burgess Meredith with his library glasses and all that shit, and the clock said 9/11. So they've been embedding this shit for a while coming. I mean, it was on the shekel in 68. Back to the Future. That video about all the non-coincidences of the embedded messages received about the catastrophe, save the clock tower, and then the quantum, hey, everybody paid attention to it and believed it. So to this day, people think this man did 9/11. You know, Bush got away with it. You got to give him credit. Because the reporting went from this field agent back to George H.W. Bush. So listen to that in that context when you get to this man's interview. We'll also watch a video of Osama bin Laden and his, antics, so you can see from evidence besides me. Okay? Cool. Ding. Now here's me. I'm real. I'm alive. Out. Alright. Get ready. Okay, so this is on Rumble. I'm going to have to work through some ads.
For anyone struggling with high blood sugar, do not drink cold water.
Oh, don't do that.
Did you know type 2 diabetes is a completely reversible condition?
Yes.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here.
Hey, Butch.
Does inflation feel worse than what we're being told?
No.
That's because the official inflation rate
Boy,
doesn't
do you
tell the
have
whole
Kimberly
story. Since January 2021,
Guilfoyle and
the cost
Ivanka
of
cut her
living has
picture out of
increased by
her
17.9%.
personal stuff.
That's what...
From U.S. intelligence, the Pakistani military...
Remember, Clinton had a chance to hit him.
They ran a wide-ranging covert network that recruited and financed Muslim fighters to battle the Soviet army.
Where did he go?
It is now known that Osama bin Laden was a CIA
Carrying a
asset
brick phone.
under the codename Tim Osman. Bin Laden would use this handle when he would visit the States.
The relationship between bin Laden and the CIA was essentially... he was one of the assets, one of the people they could turn to for help.
From George H.W. Bush, Saudi royalty came over to Naples too,
information. They wanted something done
to ensure that those young men wanted to go meet the virgins and blast Tanner Fitzgerald.
Is he the brutal Islamic terrorist
There
we've
he
been
is,
led to believe,
Tora
or a
Bora.
mere frontman?
We're doing Iraq and Afghanistan at once in 04.
That the United
Bush
States
Kerry.
government paid $300 million to the bin Laden family for the construction of the military camps. At that point, then the person who was testifying had no choice
This goes
but to
back
admit,
to
yes, that the money had gone
the
to the bin
embassy
Laden
in
family
Africa.
for the construction of those
Bush.
military training facilities in Afghanistan.
He nailed Kennedy in
However,
63.
he added that none of that money went to
He's
bin
in
Laden
power as a
himself.
CIA guy, George
Of course it
H.W.
is.
Bush. So this guy Shearer actually kind of
Osama
worked
wasn't
for
the
him
only one working
indirectly.
with U.S. intelligence.
You'll get to hear him
Hijackers
now.
also had ties to federal
And as
agents.
an intel professional,
Arrest
listen to
terrorists
his
Khalil
words
al-Mihdhar and the Wafa
and see who
Zahabi
does the reporting
lived
to the
with and
president.
rented from an FBI informant. The New York Times stated on October 6, 2002, the Federal Bureau of Investigation had a confidential informer who rented rooms in California to 2 of the September 11th hijackers. But the Bureau is resisting a request from the Congressional Committee
See,
investigating
you've got the
account
other
to
planes
interview
and
the
alleged
informer and his FBI
Muslims on the planes,
Several
but
members of the FBI had their
they
investigations
landed at
into
Andrews
terrorism impeded
and
shut down,
everybody was shot.
especially when they got close to bin Laden.
So
John O'Neill was the
a
FBI
few were
counterterrorist
extremely
chief
made over,
responsible
like
for the
Kamala
investigation
Harris
into Osama
did.
bin Laden. On
Changed
August
their
22nd,
facial features,
2001,
give them a
after
new
claims
face.
of repeated obstruction of his investigations
CNN
into Saudi
spouse.
funding, O'Neill left the FBI.
This document is marked secret and WF, which means it walked its way out of the Washington Bureau of the FBI. It indicates that before the attack of September 11th, agents had wanted to question 2 members of a very powerful family for their connections to a suspected terrorist organization, Omar and Abdullah bin Laden. But the agents weren't allowed to.
O'Neill went on to take a new post as head of World Trade Center security.
That second building was done Photoshop imagery to make you think a second plane went in. No second plane went in.
My friend for the FBI was killed out. I lost people too. We lost a lot of family members.
So this is a New York cop. He's pissed off. He gets to say shit.
Track him down. He was tracking down because the government didn't listen to him. The government didn't listen to him. The FBI, hold on. You want to call a card? The FBI fucked up. They knew about the flight training.
Yeah.
That was a fuck up for having these people in our country. We all agree on
Naples.
something. And the important thing is you have to understand. I feel what you feel. I have lost friends there. I feel what you feel.
He's a New Yorker.
That was our people that fucking
He's
died
pissed.
that day.
My friends lost friends. It crippled my buddy, who's a fireman, who's fine now.
Agencies stopped their own investigations, especially as they
He
were
couldn't
closing
stand
in.
9/11 coming. It was like,
within the
oh,
FBI also
look, here
had
they
their
are doing their
investigations into
exercises
terrorism
and shit.
stopped prior to
Clinton had a
9/11.
shot at him.
Since August of 1999, I've been working to legally expose the very real and foreseeable Middle Eastern terrorist threats to American citizens at home and abroad. From 1993 to 1999, I was assigned to the Chicago Division's Counterterrorism Task Force. The successful investigation,
You know, I worked
which
in
was
this
codenamed
community,
Overt
folks.
Betrayal,
I believe that's NSA.
BULJR, betrayal, led to the June 1998 seizure of $1.4 million.
And these guys are all appear sincere. They're not bold-faced, inverted lying like the regular guys.
On October 12,
Here
2001,
he's giving a report. But the people
Yassin
above him
Khadi was
fucking, you know,
designated by the United States
they know
government as
more
a
than
financial
this
supporter of
guy's
Osama
saying.
bin Laden.
Larry Klayman of Judicial Watch initially tried to help get Wright's story to the proper authorities.
Judicial
He
Watch.
wanted to come forward long before 9/11. We were taking those steps beginning last summer to do that. The FBI had 30 days to allow that to occur. They violated their own regulations. They covered it up. If you didn't hear me,
Boston bombing.
I called the Attorney General's
See,
office just
overseas,
days
the
after
military
9/11.
knows how to fucking do
I said,
this
Dave
shit.
Shippers and I
To get
represent
the people.
a special agent of the FBI.
We did
Chicago
it good.
Field
In
Office
Conan,
who
the
has years
FBI
of
is
information about how the FBI did not do its job, did not
terrible.
in any way investigate a meaningful
The whole
way
fucking
money
senior
laundering
crowd
in
is
the
now
States.
working for
If you're not
Microsoft.
claiming you want to do this, I'd like to make them available to you, Attorney General Ashcroft. And I was met with a response by Michael
Bush's
Chertoff, head
AG.
of the criminal division. We're tired of conspiracy theories.
Oh, CIA
Michael
term.
Chertoff will later become the head of Homeland Security.
Oh,
the
him.
department set up to fight
He's
the
the guy
war
that
on
walked
terror
over to
after
Bush when
9/11.
Lehman collapsed and everything
Wright
else.
was also restricted from telling
In
any
08.
specifics about their investigation.
Homeland Security or something.
Robert Wright was then prevented from working on terror investigations. So what happened to Wright?
He was demoted in and around the time period leading up to 9/11. He's working on innocuous, meaningless things. That's what he's doing. Yes.
So you see, they move people and they stifle
It's
things.
because
and-
these monies were going through some very powerful U.S. banks with some very powerful
Oh,
interests in the
Treasury
United
Department.
States. These banks
We
knew
have a
and had reason
Treasury
to know that these
capability
monies
to track money,
were
and
laundered
fucking
by
Mueller
terrorists.
carried a suitcase of money to Iran. Why?
There are very significant potential conflicts
Trump's
of interest in
investigator.
both the Clinton and Bush administration, and in particular the
Yes,
Bush
Billy.
administration, who is as tight with Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia as you can get.
Bush.
The president's father used
He
to
shook
stay
hands
with
with
the
an
Bin
EP.
Laden family when he would go to Saudi Arabia.
Former President Bush
There's
spent the
man.
night in D.C. at the White House on September 10th.
We've also learned at NBC that there was a President Bush in the White House during the morning of these events. His father, former President Bush, was actually at the White House
Lie.
the morning of the attack.
He
The
was
next
in
day,
Manhattan
elite financiers of the Carlyle
at
Group
440
would meet.
Rockefeller Center.
This global private equity
Cheney
investment
was in the
firm
basement,
would profiteer
and
enormously
W was down
from the
reading
wars
to the
in
black
Middle
kids,
East.
and then
At the table
Doofus
were
took
both
off on
Bush
Air
Sr.
Force One, and he
and
was out of
Osama's
the
brother,
limelight
Shafiq
until
bin Laden.
later.
The Bush and bin Laden families had been members since the 90s and would reap the benefits
Bush and
of
bin
terrorism
Laden
coming to
families.
America.
Jeb knew him.
The company would become public.
George Jr. knew him. They still do. The ones that are alive do. Bush is dead.
I do agree with you on one thing.
Enlil,
Fucking
Allah,
Bush
everything.
and Clinton, with their relationship with Saudi fucking
Boom.
I agree with you. They're kissing
Lucifer's
their
coming.
That's bullshit. Because they're sucked up, and that family that took off, that's a fucking crime.
He's only 20 at this point, early 20s.
Is of course the Bin Laden. Well, all domestic
We're in
flights
it.
were grounded.
And waterboard these
Suspects
motherfuckers.
closest to the
That's
supposed
it.
mastermind behind 9/11 were allowed
Lucifer's a
to leave on
motherfucker.
chartered flights.
Ivanka.
Let's show you some
Donald
video
got her
that was
first.
taken exclusively by News Channel 2 8
He's a
days
daughter
after
fucker.
9/11. That
Not
man
my
there
fault.
is Osama
Cover your
bin
ears.
Laden's younger brother Khalil, who had been here vacationing with other family members there on an estate that they owned in West Orange.
Oh. So there you go. So this bit of footage is from July 29th, 2004. Unless they lied down there, but they didn't. Now listen to this Intel professional discuss how the seniors receive information to make decisions. That's your job as an Intel guy. Make all the information available so the president knows what to do, or any leader, a general, your boss, the commander. Information briefing, decision briefing, Intel order of battle, Intel Annex. I mean, you can go on and on with planning and execution.
Thank you, sir, very much. I'm glad to be here. Tell me what.
So he's anonymous now, but he came out.
Assessment.
Michael Shearer. It's on my cover.
Intelligence Committee report and what we know that's coming out from the 9/11 Commission.
9/11 Commission. No.
The Senate report. I
16 minutes of tape missing. You know, Bush was on the Kennedy
that is in the intelligence
investigation.
business. One of the most important
Senior.
things to
Not Prescott.
ascertain is the person who
Prescott
delivers
took
the
George over to
intelligence
see
the
Hitler,
president,
and he picked him.
Must not
He's
only
a
deliver the
second-born
analysis,
child. He
but
wanted
give
it.
them a sharp
Hitler knew it.
and very clear
They eat people. Joseph
of the nature
McMoneagle.
of the intelligence. Is
All
it
right.
good? Is it bad? Does it come from opposition figures, for example?
Hear 'em.
Is it
Is it
how
signals
reliable?
intelligence?
And if that was
They don't
not
even know
done,
they
I
said
think
it.
that in
Are they
itself is a failure of
confessing?
intelligence.
Are they
That's also
double agents?
The former CIA director George Tenet, isn't it?
They're handlers.
Well,
This
certainly
agency's
my book
complicated because
is
it's
more or
human
less,
intelligence,
an
and
indictment
then
of many
they
of
own
our
the
senior
NSA.
leaders over the past dozen years in terms of senior civil service or senior departmental leaders. Let me just stay with that idea.
But then they
because
put an
it
extra
essentially
layer
seems to
over
some of the
everything.
problems
So now
that
there's
we are
an,
seeing.
there's
You know,
upper level of above the DCI,
whether
but
it
he's
was
still got
Colin
the
Powell's
power.
speech,
At Five Eyes,
because he was on
Mossad,
this program on
SAALM,
Friday,
there was a guy named
before
Lord
the
Marduk
UN
that they
Security
all
Council, and much has
followed.
been said about the information that he included in his speech and how he'd been to the CIA for a number of days to go over it, and how he and some of his colleagues at the State Department had rejected some things that were put forward. You know, the director of the CIA, people who prepare him to prepare the president.
This is a
look at all
question.
this, and if I
He's-
understand
he's
you,
dead now, I think.
it is very crucial that
Kind of
you
like
make
a
sure
Tom
that you
Snyder type,
communicate
late night.
and that you understand
This is 04
how
now.
reliable your information is, and what is simply the best estimate you can get.
Again,
And
Bush
you know
versus Terry,
clearly
they were
about their
fucking
reliability.
frat brothers.
In
IED
many
was the
ways, Mr.
thing.
Rose,
The count.
The analysis.
So
is
Petraeus regulated it with door
very
kickers,
important,
gave
of
the
course,
impression
but in
that, oh, we
many
got
ways,
it capped. And
the
then all the
description of the
Rangers
nature of the
caught Bin
intelligence
Laden,
is
I
even
mean,
more important
Saddam Hussein.
for an elected official who's going to make
They
a
let the
decision,
Iraqis
peace or
hang
war
them.
or any-
And then we
any,
left.
very
After
difficult
fucking
decision.
all our
The nature
shit.
of the
That's
evidence
just
must
Iraq.
be explained,
That was quick.
in
I
terms
mean,
of
2
its
times in and
reliability,
out,
its source,
father and son.
and, from
I'd
the-
say
from
Gog
the
and
Senate
Magog,
Select
but
Committee report, it's not clear to
20
me how
years in
thoroughly that
Afghanistan.
was done.
That's a
There's
fifth of
also
100 years and
I'm
$1
not sure if
trillion.
you have any words down on it because it came out of the Senate
Imagine if we had that
report.
money back.
It is the notion of the assumptions you
But
use.
we're gone. The country's gone
And
already.
if,
I'm
in
sorry to
fact, you
say.
believe something, you are more likely to
As we
resist
know it,
something that goes
our
counter to your
country
idea.
is gone. It
And
lasted
therefore,
200 something
less
years and it's
likely
fucking
to
going
take
away.
a counter assumption.
76 was a
Yes, I think that's
bicentennial.
exactly
So if Jimmy
correct.
Carter
It's,
goes, the country ought to go
one of
with
the
it.
worst things an intelligence officer can do is find something completely new, because it takes forever to get the mindset changed.
If it's a single source, you know, it gets tough. I'm trying to be objective about the job.
Osama bin Laden being opposed to our democracy and our freedoms and our way of life.
Could he possibly be unwitting to that fact?
The war is not about that, but it's been extraordinarily difficult
I find
to
it
change that
astounding,
mindset.
Thomas, but...
The war is about our presence in the Middle East and a set of American policies that are perceived by many Muslims as anti-Islamic or anti-Muslim.
I mean, we didn't belong there.
And it's part of bin Laden's
we weren't
genius
guests.
to have focused on that rather than the more
we
amorphous
invaded
issue of society
Afghanistan,
and political systems.
Khyber Pass, into Pakistan, not a good day to die. Those are some serious combat missions, man.
Focused on a limited number
incredible
of
reading.
Have been more or less on autopilot in the United States for the past 25
but he wrote
or 30
Imperial
years.
Hubris. This
we really
dude.
don't question our policies toward the Middle East or debate them. They kind of are consistent from administration to administration.
So this is giving you a roundabout idea of what
we have a hard
the
time
fuck.
seeing that our policies are anything but benign. And
yeah, right. Okay, stand. Let's enjoy this. 4:32. I haven't heard it yet. This will be the conclusion to another astounding video. Learn that Tim Osmond's a block. People just refuse to accept truth, even if they're told it. I can't say. Like people don't change and realize we have one true creator. If there's a dark side, there's a light side. They lie, they cheat, they steal, and you vote. Movie stars, politicians, your decisions are votes. But in this case, you're casting your light when you elect them. You give them power. Think about that. You think you vote, you think you vote. They steal it anyway. But they got it. You've already committed. So it doesn't matter who you vote for. Because it comes out different. This is in 432. I don't know if Geddy Lee's going to sound any better. Neil Pearce on the drums, a three-piece band from Canada. Boom! The words that are stated where it's at. 2111, the last death on this planet, folks. Don't eat meat. Go vegan. The Essenes were vegetarians, so it's possible. Plenty of protein. For water beings, for light beings, human. Densities of awareness. You were that. You better accept it, because it's true. And we evolve. Continue to evolve on this surface. I'm going down through a Gartha. Admiral Byrd drew a cardiograph. His staff did. It's down there, 800 miles down. A long hike. Maybe there's like a 40-mile skydive or something you can do that's inner, I haven't been down recently. Not in this life. Shaver Mysteries, gotta read that. This is bass. Geddy Lee. Now, it's 8 octaves slower than the radio version. good for that ride home, getting stoned with your friends, passing it around. 15 years old, going, what the fuck, man? I don't know what I'm doing already. This is back then. Now we know, 432, right way to go. This is still, you know, it's gonna walk. People like rock. I like rock. I don't have to change. I just don't want fucked up music. Here we go. He said it. Here we go now. It's still 432. Let's see how bad he freaks out. You can't get rid of this. The shrill. So imagine having like, not a screamer, but Sammy Hagar or somebody that's got a great voice. I can imitate him. See, I'm a magic man. I've been gifted with a lot, but I ain't got nothing yet. Past life awareness. Really did. Now he goes into a second verse, more ranting. I'm on my own timeline, and Trump's a fucking nut brown. He went to F-45 Alpha, then he came back to be William Dennison. No, he was William Dennison, and he came back to be Donald John Trump, nephew of John Trump, who took all Tesla's shit. Did you know there's a real Tesla? Rah! Yeah, I was a priest a lot of times, not a fucking warlock. I watch these guys with Rory Gallagher. I'm blessed. Nashville, baby. I've been to the Grand Ole Opry. I watched the pussies down there in the red light district. I could play songs from that era. Sitting down there by myself watching these girls dance. And yes, I did. I'm admitting it. God love you. I hope you like this. Out. Alright, now that we've completed General Fenton's opening remarks, you, the decision maker, let me orient you to my cover page and the accompanying graphics. We have 2 months listed and the conversion to the Maya dates in red. You see that 888 was very powerful. Ask Eldora and Saman and Glastonbury. Let's review the planet chakra. Class, start here, right here with fire, and go to where? Mount Shasta, down to Titicaca, over the Ayers, around to the throat. Ayers is the wind, the throat is Giza, the heart is Glastonbury, that's where they were. Blessed Mother was. From there, she was a princess, blue-eyed wonder. Joseph of Amaranthia as well. So you're Glastonbury, the Irish, up the Raw. We took out Mountbatten. We had to. He was a fucking cannibal. I make no excuses for loyalty to a fucking Oliver Cromwell, sick bunch of people that eat people. Took over a quarter of that country, and they mark everything and track everything, and there's a free state down south, just like they say up north in Strabane. That's where my grandfather's from. My father's mother's uncle is Martin Wynn. There's a museum dedicated to him in Sligo. So nobody's going to piss off unless they say something stupid as a comment. And I dare you to share this video, because it's transformative just by knowledge. So the Pleiadians are coming. Read the words. Okay? It's huge. And it's Delta guys up there from the future. My twins are from the Pleiades, peeps. And my son is the best. here's Byron. This is the dunce. Here's what we thought because we watched TV, and she's in it. George H.W. Bush masterminded it with his son. You see, Cantor Fitzgerald had a hedge fund that was getting ahead of FEMA. Word leaked, and down it came. The cataclysm of 9/11, because they had time to plan it out. There was gold buried, asbestos poisoning, building 7 in the afternoon, and my friends were terrorized. Several of them come to mind. I don't need to mention any names, but recovery's ongoing. So 360 is the end of it, and then a new year begins. So it'll be 505.0.4 on 9/11. It's 3 now. And then the count begins again. There's 9/11. There's 360 at the end of the year, so to speak, but there's 5 extra days left over, and they're the lazy days of summer. That's where we're going, peeps. 6 days a week, 3 weeks a month, 20 months a year, plus 5. Now you've got lunar cycles too, loony toony, so we're going to do it all. We're all radicals. Now let's listen to the Pleiadians, or Black Eyed Presents channeling the information from a starship to us. Now, I won't talk about it, put any of this on my cover page. It's from another video, but there's the man, a porn man who was a porn star, and there's a man with a wife with a penis who went to Columbia, as you see, and was in the jumper program. That all has to do with Pensacola. And there is Indigo Angel and her sister taking care of being beautiful. Now let's go listen to Truth. By the way, the porno man is Ron Jeremy. And look at how he deteriorated, if you can see it. Sitting in court all masked up. I want to get a good look at Indigo Angel and her sister, Evie. I love them both. Lionsgate. Alright, there's Joe Genghis. There's Agartha. Let's listen to Michael Love was the human that got this through his throat chakra.
Pleiadian Light Forces transmission.
Unless he wrote it down.
Channeled by Michael Love, begin transmission. Great Ones, the Earth Alliance is reporting that a few Earth days ago, solar observatories all around the globe detected, filmed and photographed the largest influx of light ships coming into this solar system in modern human history. This data is locked away from public eyes to avoid panic for those who are unconscious, and the data is only leaked out to key Earth Alliance members via the acosmic level, top secret security clearance. Coded transmissions from one of these huge light ships shows the fleet originated from the 5th dimensional Pleiades. The data also shows 5D. The size of this magnificent fleet to be numbered near 30,000. These plasma ships are massive Gosha, size, very advanced,
go humans,
and have millions
and
of beings
then move
on
it to
board
the
each one.
Pleiades. But its future
12
version.
of these plasmic craft are galactic
Seven
security
Sisters,
ships, and
Atlas.
each one has close to 300,000 Delta security
planet
forces
Maya.
on board each ship. These ships are here for the purpose of shielding and blocking the last major negative energy. Multi-dimensional wormhole that is funneling Draco energy directly to Earth from the Rigel star system. These antimatter wormholes were
ZETA is a planet up there, and that's where Zorvath came from. The Papa shot at Trump.
Earth energy grid points. Chaotic, dense 3D matrix energy has been flowing through this artificial stargate for years, and star nations are now confirming that this portal is being closed for good as we speak.
He's a dead man, though.
Pleiadian Delta security forces have been using advanced
in the near
monatomic and aura crystal energy to fully close all negative stargates leading to Earth, and to transmute the negative energy of all controlling dark forces that have ruled this planet for eons.
Naturally.
Delta security forces are in the process
if you've already
now of
made a
depleting
gender identity decision, acknowledge where you are and be happy. Hey, we go, huh? Cruz is running. He's a filibuster, huh?
The energy of any remaining negative
They all
beings
bathe
and
together.
surface cabal who have been controlling and harming
Mount
the
Graham.
beings of Earth of the last 350,000 years. As of May 2019, these beings are now threatened with complete extinction. Forever and their last-ditch effort
Right
to
before
terraform
COVID.
Earth and transhumanize the population using 5
2019.
grams negative energy
Mercury's
fields.
fast.
Nanobots and quantum computers
So are
has been
biochem
thwarted
labs.
according to Pleiadian
And
military
5G
commanders.
excitement. But
Two
concentrated at
previous
the Mill
attempts to
Olympics,
trigger the
Bill
event
Gates doing
using
event
NR
201.
technology and plasma bombs
With
to
John
close
Hopkins.
negative artificial energy
The
portals
Chinese
had to
delegation
be halted
coming
for the
over
sake of
to
all
sign the
life on
Trump
Earth.
deal.
Both of these two pastime lines have been collapsed
The
by
art of the deal.
Pleiadian light forces into the New Earth
Boy,
gamma
is he a fuck
timeline.
up.
Great ones.
I mean, if you want to
Now we are
not
in the
share,
gamma
he
timeline,
gave it away.
which is a slow
Our
and
food.
sure way to
The
lead
Chinese
the
have
planet towards
pre-negotiated
full
prices.
liberation without
Take
destroying
it all.
the
They need
ecosystem
food
and
over
the
there.
surface population
So
in
they
the
got
process.
the money, they got the food, and you better
Benevolent
be
light
growing your own
forces
shit
that
when
are
it disappears
surrounding
off
the
the
Earth
shelves.
at this very
Be
moment
wiping your
have
ass with
requested that
with
we,
leaves when they come for
the
the
star
live organ
seeds on the
donation
ground,
program. I
now
hope you
provide
got
the
a cave
required
nearby.
support needed to fully liberate planet
Are you
Earth
tagged?
by
You have a
Independence
smartphone?
Day.
You have a live organ
An
donor
epic and
program
human
card?
evolution
Oh!
is taking place right now.
Well, you acknowledge
Dear
that you
ones,
want to
where
do
a
it. You
move to
just didn't
personal
specify that
sovereignty
fine
is
print
starting
like
to
when they
take
want to
place
take
on a
them.
mass collective level.
If you're RH
The
negative,
same
you know, they
NR
need white
technology
butlers,
that
so
star
you'll be
forces
alright
are
if you're
using
old
to
and in
clear
the
cosmic
Philippines,
negative
but
energy has been made
these guys in the
available to the
Philippines
star
think they're
seeds of
retired.
Earth.
Ah!
Many beings of Earth are experiencing
I'm just trying
benefits
to
of
scare folks.
Anaric crystal technology
Be
in
who you
manifesting
are.
their 5D
Have
heaven
nice
on Earth.
conversations, and
By
Source will
receiving
protect you.
great healing. And
Don't
now
get
we can
wasted,
assist the
just
higher
weed.
beings using their same technology
Plants.
to help free the planet as
Yeah.
we move forward with
They
Operation
got
Freedom
custard
Earth.
apples coming this way.
Delta Forces relayed a
your
special
gummies.
sacred geometry seal to
Here
the
we
Earth
go.
Alliance that, in conjunction with 4 monatomic Anara crystals, creates an impenetrable etheric energy force field.
Now, you might not believe
This
this.
angelic seal and the 5D NR crystals also transmute low vibrational energy near your auric field at once. This Pleiadian protection and
You've
etheric
died many times.
transmutation grid can be found on our website below. Project Freedom
Gone
Earth is
back,
about personal sovereignty
plan
for
some more,
every
and
light
dropped
being
in.
stationed on the
In
planet.
this case, to be slapped.
Sovereignty is about
When there's water
realizing
births.
who and what you truly are,
You didn't need to
and
be
to start
slapped.
being this.
We know all this
It
already.
means that you
We
are
know
no less than what
hydroxychloroquine.
you
The
are
AMA
calling God.
told
And
us.
when
You
you
see,
start to be
Fauci
this,
gave it to
you
Trump.
no longer depend on anyone or
And they'll
anything
try and get
but
Fauci.
yourself.
I'll represent him for free.
The wing makers call this
Half the NBA
sovereign
will back 'em up,
integral,
too,
and
like
it is
magic.
the greatest evolutionary leap
You just
that
didn't
mankind
know.
has ever known.
And
At
Freddie
this
Mercury
stage, the
got
light beings of
AIDS
Earth become
and Magic
true
got
galactic
HIV.
citizens and begin
he
to
used to
govern
work
themselves
at Kane.
and live as such. At this point in one's evolution, you begin be the highest and grandest version of yourself that you can conceive of,
Yeah.
and you begin to live out of your heart completely.
We're doing it.
A sovereign being does not depend on anyone for anything, and does what he or she desires.
Kaya Ra.
Sovereign beings do not require authority figures,
She was
gods,
Joan of Arc,
leaders,
Danica
and
Patrick.
they live as such.
She's
The
doing
Lemurians,
interviews now,
the
but she
Atlanteans,
is
and the
beautiful.
Pleiadians have all taught us time and time again that their secret higher dimensional
Nostradamus
power
sits on
comes
Sirius
from
Alpha
Anaric
right now,
crystal
folks.
technology.
The true Muhammad.
Why do we promote Andarans?
All from
From our
Arcturus,
own
A or
personal
B, and
testimony,
you know,
and
which
from
is
the
good.
testimony of tens of thousands
I
of
thought I
light
wanted
beings
to be
will
point
confirm
of
that
origin
Anar's
serious,
work.
so when I was
They are
waking
literal
up,
magic,
oh,
and the only way to know
I feel
is
so
to
close
work
to
with
my
them
brother.
personally.
But the
Inaras
stars
are
are what
causing
they are, and
rapid light body
Arcturians are
formation.
archangels.
Star seeds stationed all across
Class
the Earth
being,
are beginning to
angelically.
report the first documented physical signs
Social
of the
memory
appearance
complex.
of their 5D light bodies. Operation Freedom Earth has commenced, dear ones.
Freedom.
The
Pardon my
Earth
scribble
Alliance is
here.
now
This is just
disclosing
raw
that
notes.
a
But
historical cosmic event
if
is
you can
about
read
to
it,
take
these are
place on
classes of
planet Earth
angelic beings.
around
I was just sort of
a few
scribbling
Earth
it as
days ago,
another channeling was
Pleiadian
mentioned,
Delta
but here they
security
are.
forces in charge of protecting the New Earth energy grid.
Pause it as needed.
We're given a green light.
No, it starts down here and there's millions of them.
Freedom Earth.
Making sure you're
Operation
okay.
Freedom Earth is the final mission regarding humanity's ascension and is the grandest Pleiadian mission to date.
So
this
give up,
incredible
surrender,
operation
be a part
involves
of
the
the solution.
complete liberation of planet Earth. Billions of benevolent celestial forces from every corner of this galaxy have descended into Earth's solar system and are coordinating Operation Freedom Earth from the sky to the ground.
You didn't know that. They hit it.
This final Earth freedom mission will come to a grand climax.
How did that happen?
Pleiadian
did he
Delta
just
Force
Harry
commanders
Houdini
have
by
said
himself
that this
with no blood in
operation
him?
involves
No!
a massive
Wife
takedown of
unfurled
the
him
ancient,
and away they went.
artificial and harmful Earth
They
control
prepared
grid.
him for burial.
This old low vibrational energetic control grid is in the process of being completely disassembled, and a powerful crystalline energetic protection grid is being put in place around planet Earth
Cannon.
now
2 O's
to
in Dolores, 2 N's in Cannon. She's all over YouTube as well.
From the surface. Light forces have also relayed the following urgent message to the inhabitants of planet Earth. Great ones. Earth has reached a critical apex in its evolution and in its very survival. Things absolutely cannot and will not continue as they have with careless care of the planet being handled by a handful of remaining negative beings.
Oh, look at the girl you watched earlier.
International scientists and biosphere experts have issued a serious
Bring a
warning
water
to all
board.
that human society is now under urgent threat from a complete
Make her
loss
tell
of
the
Earth's
truth, and
natural
then
life.
she can be with us.
Please become conscious of
Truth,
the fact that
force and
over
food,
1 million
Anunnaki
species of
code.
living beings on the surface
Any
of
bobblehead
planet Earth
understands that.
and the entire ecosystem of Earth is facing a complete and imminent extinction.
That's the timeline.
What's more concerning is the entire human population
Founders are ready to
of
move
Earth
us out if
depends on the
this
other
fucking
species
Stern hit or
for its
something,
own
but that ain't gonna
survival.
happen.
Benevolent
Battle's
beings
won.
have now stepped in and
Wake
have
up,
decreed
guys.
that a plan is
Feel
in place
good
to
on a
stop
rainy day,
and reverse
like you
this
did when
dire
you were a kid.
situation.
Jump in the puddle.
We
You
are
were a
here
puddle.
to bring solutions and positive news for the hope of a glorious new epoch
You
on
forgot
planet
how to
Earth.
be happy with
The
everything.
grand event will now
The
be
little
fully
things
triggered,
that you take
and
for
a
granted.
blinding
Be
light that the
thankful.
Earth has never seen is
Be
coming
thankful.
just over
The
the
Lemurians
horizon.
tell us that now.
How to work
Show
with
gratitude
an NR
and don't
crystal.
be bored.
Simply come into close
We
contact
have so much
with an
to
NR.
learn and repair.
Hold it, meditate with
Meditation.
it, gaze upon it, and send your highest intention into it. Inara will greatly amplify your desires
sun
and manifest
is a good
them
place to
quickly
stare.
and directly to
Their
you
naked
from a
eyes.
higher dimensional plane. Godspeed, Tilda Michael and the Pleiadians.
All right. We did it. We made it to the end. So, in conclusion, please know that on 9/11/3 BC, Revelation 12, before it was written, folks, Mary's feet were pointed at a total eclipse of the sun, Jupiter, and Regulus, testified to by Sudi to Dolores Cannon in Jesus and the Essenes. Get that book and read it. You can get it on Kindle. The days lasted for days. Somehow I ended up here in Arkansas. It must have been Source. My decision to come to this state, but I was going to Mammoth Springs, refine my ideas. My friend Brad Moore, that I just learned passed away. If you watch this and you know Brad, he went on August 31st last year of lung cancer, and I didn't know he was terminal. I had spoken to him not too long before that, but he had recommended Northwest Arkansas. So I left from Mammoth Spring, drove out to Rocky's place after looking at some shit in Eureka Springs, got drunk, woken by a cop, told him to go away, I was sleeping. This was Rocky Rock on Facebook. He remembers me. Very gothic place. But it's Eureka Springs. It's LBGQ. It's freaking throw tomahawks at the dartboards. It's vibrant. It's where the UFO conference is, by Dolores Cannon. So yeah, I ended up where I live now. Then I found out later she's like 20 minutes away, and I was interested in QHHT Live, and back to Miami I went. Introduced myself as the guy that was in Florida, went to Arkansas, and I'm back here again. To Julia Cannon. And she told it to the whole QHHT Live crowd. Suzanne Spooner was there. Kaya. Kaya Rittenhouse. Not Kaya. My son's name is Kyle. This guy is very handsome. He's a tall guy. He's lit. It's Kaya Rittenhouse. He was a model. Went to Suzanne Spooner, QHH'd up. They lived past lives together in Atlantis. What a magic weekend. There were two people, a boy and girl that didn't know each other, sat next to each other. They found out they'd lived multiple lives before. That's Joshua, James, and a girl who's always gets mad at me because she's on her own path. But she met Yeshua at that weekend. If she did, she'll have to admit it. And I yelled out, John, 17:22. I didn't know Elon Musk was verse 12. Have a good day, folks. Bill Young was a great man. He was the head of the Senate Armed Services Committee. The VA's named after him. Big sections of Pinellas County. And God bless America. And his wife, boy, she wanted them when I was coming home to Afghanistan. Camaraderie. Guys, he knows. Oh, there's me. Now, why would I use the word flatulence? Well, indirectly. Yep. It's tied to this. I'm back to my briefing. There's Joey Votel talking to a Fox talking head. Neil Cavuto, I believe he's got MS. Here's my man, Kenneth Faust. Not Tommy Faust, Kenneth Staus. It's easy to get them mixed up because they're both great dudes, but one's still breathing oxygen in Texas. Senior intel guy, all the way to Homeland Security. He's actually married to one of John McCain's aides, a shorter gal. He was married to Lynette, a redhead. They lived in Cotton Age, so did I. So did Jerry Boykin. But this prick was Ken Staus's XO. This fuck. He needs to be waterboarding, you see. He rose up after this man was murdered by Bill Garrison and Weather in Congress and Black Hawk Down in St. Paul. This fucker got the position. He was below the zone, this dude. Kenny. G3 plans. I was G2 plans. I got trained on how to use a tactical fucking nuke, you prick. He looked at me cross-eyed at Fort Benning when I visited him. It was interesting because Don Zackerl, who was an ROTC dude who taught us all how to have night vision, he was a ranger, he was the S4. He said, close one eye. If you're outside before you go into a briefing and you close one eye, then you keep your night vision in the other eye. I learned that from him in the same, well, when I was in school, but he was there in the big Bay Area of the battalion headquarters where this fucking prick looked at me cross-eyed. And I'm saying it because he did. Kenny was a great dude. He took me fishing. We went out to lunch at Charlie's damn near every day. And he's with me now. I was Billy the Kid. Please comment if you disagree. So we're going to watch this video because I had to mod my cover. How about that for an insert? Stand by. Now, there are plenty of Joe Votel videos around, but this one's particularly appropriate because he's on Fox News and giving his opinion on shit. This man rose up to be the director of the Counter IED Task Force. Go Fourth Reich. Go Peter Shoemaker, who drove us through IEDs, who was a SOCOM commander. He was a SOCOM and a CENTCOM commander. And he was a phony ranger because he killed rangers. He stepped aside. He wasn't on the plane with Ken, his own XO. They scrambled everything up after the rehearsal. And the air mission commander was sitting in the passenger seat with the pilot who got blown through the windshield. Ask Ted Jordan. He was on the ground in Utah. S2 Task Force 160. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. I went over to Jordan, with Jordan, went to Amman. This fucker wasn't there. Yoo-hoo! Alright, I'm not mad. Let's listen to him. Might have to suffer through an ad.
But if you're paying more than $30 per month on car insurance,
I know.
You're getting ripped off.
Yeah, thanks.
Guys, so everyone is ditching.
Most people don't know this, but the best way to clear mucus, phlegm, and tar from the lungs
Freaking hang a
isn't
lunger.
with cough suppressants over the
To General Joseph Votel, the former U.S. Central Commanding General, kind enough to join us. General, that is a bit of an unusual strategy there to wait till after the Olympics to do something. I can understand that, but what do you make of just that?
Well, thanks, Neil. It's great to be with you. Certainly the Olympics could be a consideration, but I actually think there's probably some other considerations here that are in play as well. I think Iran has to think about the risk.
You know, all the commanders at SOCOM watch my shit. I'm in the passenger seat with the pilot who got blown through the windshield. Ask Ted Jordan. He was on the ground in Utah. S2 Task Force 160. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. I went over to Jordan, with Jordan, went to Oman. This fucker wasn't there. Yoo-hoo! Alright, I'm not mad. Let's listen to him. Might have to suffer
No
through
offense,
an ad.
but if you're paying more than $30 per month on car insurance,
I know.
you're getting ripped off.
Yeah,
Guys,
thanks.
so everyone is ditching.
Most people don't know this, but the best way to clear mucus, phlegm, and tar from the lungs
Freaking hang a
isn't
lunger.
with cough suppressants over the
To General Joseph Votel, the former U.S. Central Commanding General, kind enough to join us. General, that is a bit of an unusual strategy there to wait till after the Olympics to do something. I can understand that, but what do you make of just that?
Well, thanks, Neil. It's great to be with you. Certainly the Olympics could be a consideration, but I actually think there's probably some other considerations here that are in play as well. I think Iran has to think about the risk.
You know, all the commanders at SOCOM watch my shit. I hope this fucker does, because I got an email from the man before Fenton. He's got a son in Tampa. Said, "We watch you, you're a great man."
Israeli response.
Not exactly that, but I thanked him. He described his son, what he's trying to do to help him grow up to be a man. This fucker! Waterboard! Why'd you do it, Joey? Why? Why, you cocksucker? Immediately. Pin him the fuck down. Brian, Fenton, do your job, man. Get this fucker, pin him down, and make him tell the truth. He's a disgrace to the Army. He's a disgrace to the Ranger uniform. He's a motherfucking disgrace. He killed people. We spent a lot of money trying to get bin Laden. He was the counter-smartphone war for your smartphone. We all loaded up for Shoemaker and Bush. He's a nice man. I like Neil.
In that neck of the woods as well.
He's just getting
what
through.
What are the responses that will be coming from those
you got an opinion? Ask Neil.
Iran, and that's where Iran leads it.
Sure. Well, first among them, of course, is Hezbollah. Hezbollah has
John.
literally hundreds of thousands of missiles and rockets that they can launch. They
Her
are
VP.
much closer to Israel, so they could create much greater havoc and chaos and less time to respond for Israeli.
George Soros made sure waterboarding was taken off the table through John McCain. Thumbs down. I was tortured at the Hanoi Hilton because I crashed my plane. Probably spun it in, maybe broke a leg with his ejection. I mean, come on. Then you get it splinted. You look like you're, in a crucible. Now, he eventually died of black eye, lung, fucking whatever. That man had a studio at his house and waved in ISIS leadership to go record. A friend of Lindsey Graham, boots on the ground. Now, this prick.
The combined aspect of this, I think, could create some real challenges. And it's likely
challenges. You want a challenge, you fucker? Where do you live? Are you down in Texas? Where the fuck are you? Are you in Tampa? You go to hockey games, you get acknowledged by them. Good luck with 5G and 15-minute cities. Oh,
I'm Steve Dixie. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
Oh, here they are.
Woo!
All right, we made it.
YouTube page to catch
Everybody,
our hottest interviews
watch
and
more. It's coming.
No offense, but if you're paying more than
I'm telling
$30
you, when you take what I've recorded here thus far, and you put it all together, and you can name another person who fucking has been through the shit that I personally have been through, I deserve everything I'm saying right now. And I'd like to thank the ladies for listening and not getting mad at me. You guys can ask the waterboarding questions. Just think them up. Laura Magdalene Eisenhower probably has a few good ones, like T-squares and constellations and stuff like that. She got rupeed. Brad Olson can help hold him down. Pretend he's dribbling on him. Spit it out. Brad's bigger than him. He's a gentle giant, but he could do the job. James Rink, come on, let's do it. You were just down in Florida. Robert Khalil, come on, let's pin him down. It's fun sitting in the studio, but let's fucking do this. Let's go to raid Fort Eisenhower, fix them, and then immediately go down to Texas and nail W. We'll get these guys on the way, but he's hiding. He's probably on fucking Mars somewhere or down in Antarctica. They got 24 hours of New Year's Day down there and pyramids and shit. The Indians go everywhere. They wear the feathers. We're it. One race. We are God. With liberty and justice for all, Lady Portia and Count St. Germain guard crystal at the base of Lake Tahoe. Oh yeah. Let's watch more. Darryl Worley song. Have you forgotten? Listen to those words to that song for 9/11. Hatfields and McCoys. They took all the footage from my TV. The fuck? Go after who? Go get who? Do you believe it? They tied in a musician named Darryl Worley into the hypnotism of 9/11. I'm going to prove it in this video. So bear with me and listen carefully to words and to pictures. Because the CIA guy tries to tell the truth, but he must have a block about Tim Osman also. And this guy led the fucking Osama bin Laden go find him thing. What can I tell you? They got us. So you got to admit it. Then you vaccinated? Holy good God. Quinine is the solution. HCQ. Tonic water with quinine. It's guanyin. Key code 6. It's very spiritual. It's antiviral. So if you take that, if you fucked everything up in your body, you can take that with antibiotics and a regimen and clear it out and don't do it again. But you have to admit to yourself inside that you fucked up and made a mistake, or it's going to catch up to you sooner or later if you refuse to admit it. Oh, I vaxxed, but I'm alright. Okay. Walk by a 5G tower someday and lose it. I hope not. But enjoy my video and let's stare at the ceiling and then continue. Wow!